Last week I went to the bathroom just to be alone. I was overstimulated by all the sounds of a normal day with kids and overwhelmed by all the tasks of my list, the appointments in my calendar and the decisions waiting to be made. Nothing dramatic happened. I just needed to breathe without someone touching me. And before I even collected my thoughts, my son was standing in the doorway, looking for me. So now I'm already running on empty, and I have even less to give. I snapped at him, not badly, but enough. And then came the thought I know too well. Am I damaging my kids just by being like this? If you've ever felt completely unqualified for this job, even though you love your children more than anything, stay with me. I'm Karin Schreiber, and today I want to talk honestly about the moments motherhood feels less like a calling and more like a job you were never trained for. Here's a pattern that took me a long time to even notice. I'm someone with big emotions. When I'm overwhelmed, I cry. I need space. But my kids sense that shift in me immediately. And instead of giving me room, they become more anxious and more clingy. They need me more, not less. And here's what helped me stop blaming them for it. Children are wired to read our emotional state as a signal of safety. When they sense distress in us, their whole system says, "Get closer to mama," not to annoy us, because we are their safe space. It's not them being difficult. It's actually proof that the bond is working. But in that moment, it doesn't feel like a compliment. It feels like, I have nothing left. Leave me alone for a minute. But now I'm needed even more. And when I react poorly, when I'm impatient, sharp, or just not who I want to be, the guilt arrives before I've even finished the sentence. Am I breaking something in them? Am I a bad mom? Will they remember this moment 20 years from now and tell a therapist about it? I think so many of us carry a quiet shame about the distance between the mother we imagined and the one who actually shows up on a hard Wednesday afternoon. We pictured patience we don't always have, warmth that sometimes run dry, and sometimes, and this is the part we almost never say out loud, there's a moment where you don't even want this. Not your children, you love your children, but this, the weight of it, the endlessness. You remember what it felt like to just grab your keys and leave the house. No bag, no plan, no one calling your name. And then the guilt for even thinking that hits harder than anything else. And the gap between what we feel and what we think a good Christian mother should feel can feel like evidence that we were never meant for this. But mama, here is what I have to remind myself sometimes daily. Feelings lie. They are real, yes, but they are not always true. My feeling of having ruined a moment is not the same as having ruined my child. Children are far more resilient than our worst afternoons. What shapes them is not one sharp word on a tired day. It's the overall pattern and whether we come back to repair and keep showing up. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness, not in your strength, in your weakness." God's power shows up exactly where we feel least qualified. That's not a backup plan. That was always the design. If you need truth to hold on to on the days your feelings are loud, I made a free set of 20 biblical declarations for Christian moms. Words you can speak over yourself when shame says one thing and God says another. The link is right below in this video. I don't want to just tell you it will be okay. I want to tell you what actually changed things for me. The first thing was honesty. Not with God, I'll get to that, but with other mothers. The first time I said out loud to another mom, "I hid in the bathroom today because I couldn't take it anymore." And she said, "I did the same thing last week. something broke open in me. Not being alone in this, that gave me hope. Maybe I'm not failing, maybe it's just normal to feel like this sometimes. The second thing was rest. Real rest. Not scrolling, not just collapsing on the couch after bedtime, but stillness with God. Even 5 minutes where I'm not performing, not producing, not needed, just being held. I can't give from a place that's completely empty. And God doesn't ask me to. The third thing was learning to repair. When I get it wrong, and I do, I go back to my children and say, I'm sorry. That wasn't okay. Can you forgive me, please? And Mama, that models something more powerful than never making a mistake. It teaches them we don't have to be perfect to be trustworthy. And the fourth thing was looking at my own childhood. Whenever I noticed a reaction in myself that feels too big for the moment, I've started asking, how did I experience moments like this when I was a child? Are there patterns or old wounds that I haven't looked at yet? That kind of honesty with yourself, it doesn't fix everything overnight, but it changes the pattern slowly for real. Mama, you are not unqualified. God who called you to this is not waiting for you to be enough on your own. He already knew you wouldn't be. That was never the plan. And one more thing, and I mean this. If you're carrying something heavier than a hard afternoon, if the weight doesn't lift, please talk to someone, a counselor, a pastor. Asking for help is not weakness. It's one of the bravest things a mother can do. I'd love to hear from you. What's the one thing that helps you most when you feel unqualified as a mom? Drop it in the comments. Let's build something together that every mama can come back to. Talk soon.